what's the first snake of the night going to be?
Atrox.
I think it's going to be a checkered garter snake. Well, Steven got it. It's an Atrox. Very nice. I'm sure we'll be seeing a few of these tonight, so we'll just get him out of the road. Nice looking snake as always, though. Check this out. Next snake, we have a nice big gopher snake. Really pretty red color on this guy. Not something we commonly see as adults at night, but this guy's not quite fully grown, still maybe a couple of years old, but nice looking snake. First Sonoran gopher snake of the trip. Typically we see these guys most commonly as babies or big adults during the day. Kind of a weird size to see at night. He's just periscoping up out of the grass right now. What the heck, dude? Hopefully we'll see a few more of these guys and maybe one or two during the day so we can get a better look at them. They're a little bit of a pain to deal with at night because of how big and wiry they are. All right, next up we have a massive blacktail. Look at this guy, he's gorgeous too. Very nice. Look at the string on this guy. What a beast. A little Steven in there for perspective. It's a big snake. Blacktails are not a super large rattlesnake. Out of the highway, big guy.
That's a hefty rattlesnake. There you go.
What a chill guy. Just sits there. Doesn't even want to rattle. He's just a bro. Love blacktails. We'll leave him to it now that he's safe and off the road. All right, guys. Steven has just spotted our first Trans-pecos rat snake of the trip. He's got a bad eye on this side. But a very pretty snake, one of the iconic species here in West Texas that we all come out here to see. Pretty much only occurs in the United States here in West Texas and then in portions of New Mexico. All right, here's a look at this guy in hand. Very, very cool snakes. Something that's pretty common in a lot of parts of West Texas, so hopefully we'll see plenty of these, but the area we're in tonight is particularly dense with Trans-pecos rat snakes, so hopefully we'll see more tonight, and if we don't, maybe we'll see more throughout the rest of the trip, but really, really cool snake. He's got a little bit of a bad eye on that right side of his head, or on our right side, his left. Maybe he got attacked by a predator or clipped by a car. Definitely interesting, though. All right, we're going to leave this guy to it, but a beautiful first Trans-pecos rat snake of the trip. Just an iconic snake and something that never gets old. All right, here's another big suboc. This one's actually kind of big. The first one was relatively small. They're very big rat snakes. I mean, maybe not like, you know, not black rat snake big, but you can see this is a pretty typical adult. Very, very nice. This is really what we were hoping to see tonight, is a good number of these guys. So it's very hot and dry, so not really high expectations of Alterna tonight, but it is pretty good weather to see these guys out and about. So we'll just scoot him off the road and continue on. Why is there a seashell right there? Oh, nice. Banded gecko of the Texas variety. First one of the trip. Out running around looking for bugs. Just like us. This is what we're up against tonight. 1:30 a.m. 91 degrees still. The first amphibian of the trip. A little red-spotted toad. Look at this guy. Hopping around in the dry. All right, everyone. Well, it's been a pretty snaky night, but we have had a lot of DORs, unfortunately, and just not nearly as many living snakes as you would like. But nice to see a couple of subocs along with a few other things. But we're probably going to call the night here. If we see anything else on the way back to town, I'll definitely let you guys know. What's this thing, Steven?
Lampetus drummondii.
Very, very cool beetle with little blue feet. Never seen these guys before. Big Boo Prested. All right, guys, so this is going to be the first night of the trip we have had any precipitation. There was a pretty light shower that hit this area today. The ground's slightly wet, but feels pretty good out here, so we're going to hit it hard and hopefully we'll score. Who is this guy? Scuchulatus? A real nice scutellatus. Look at that. Little, our first adult Mojave rattlesnake of the trip. Very nice. Cool looking snake. All right, we'll just escort this guy out the road. Pretty nice to see a nice full-grown scoot after getting that little dinky one in the last video. And these are a pretty small rattlesnake here, at least at high elevation. You can see him next to Steven. This is a reproductive adult. They're quite tiny, and they don't get very big even where they're a little bit bigger than this. They're kind of a smaller, large-bodied rattlesnake. And right past the Mojave here is a pretty little blacktail. You want to chill out for a second, bud? He's real kind of light and platinumy for this area. There's been no shortage of rattlesnakes this trip, and I'm not complaining, but it would be nice to see a Lamprepeltis tonight. I'm not going to be picky, but you guys know. All right, bud, keep it moving, and we'll do the same. There is such a ridiculous amount of bug activity out here tonight. We got stick bugs doing the nasty right here. There's probably 100 stick bugs in this bush. Like, every time I look down, I notice a new stick bug. There's so many of them. Like, look at this. The one right there, one to his right. Tons of them. Well, here's a first for the trip. A little Great Plains rat snake. Let's see if we can get a look at his face here. Oh, there he goes. All right, this is a Great Plains rat snake, probably the least exciting of the 3 rat snakes out here, just because they have such a wide range and we see them a lot of other places other than West Texas. And they also tend to be the most generalistic and common of the 3 rat snakes out here. We've seen 2 of the 3 so far. We just need to find a bear dye and we'll have all 3 rat snakes. Here's a kind of interesting next snake of the night, a very common snake, but one we haven't seen yet this trip, a checkered garter snake. These are a really pretty but really common species of garter snake through a lot of their range, and in some places and on some nights they can just be absolutely goofy abundant. But this is the first one we've seen on this trip, probably brought out by this rain. It's actually a really healthy snake, possibly even gravid. These guys do get my award for one of the stinkiest snake species, musk. I mean, they are absolutely putrid. And both of the garter snakes out here, both checkered and blacknecks, are both particularly stinky, so I am not going to handle this guy any more than I have to. We'll just leave him to it. Very healthy looking snake though. Not the snakiest night so far, but we have been having a lot of really bad luck with things getting away from us, so hopefully that will come to an end and we can actually catch the next few snakes we see. Well, since I talked about not losing snakes, we've lost several more snakes. However, we did just secure our first glossy snake of the trip. This is a really cool and unique genus of snakes that's kind of peripheral to Lamprepeltis. They feel and seem a lot like Lamprepeltis, but they're not. And they can be quite common, especially in the grasslands here in West Texas, but I just really don't see too many of them, despite how common they can be on certain nights. We have seen one of these roadkill tonight too. But very, very cool snake. This guy's hanging out in an area that got quite a bit of moisture today. You can see the soil's nice and saturated right here. But a very cool snake, and something that we don't really get any eastern representatives of. These guys do go surprisingly far east into Texas, but it's a different subspecies. These guys are really neat snakes, but as you can see, that little fat area right there on the left side indicates that this guy just recently ate something, so we'll leave him to it. He's probably gonna go curl up and digest that thing for a few days, and we're gonna go continue trying to find an alterna. This is really not a species we see terribly often as bycatch looking for alterna, so it's always nice to come across them. Here's a first for the trip. The rain has brought out our first Couch's spadefoot toad. This is a pretty common toad we see out here when it's dry and wet, but usually not when it's really dry. Very, very variable, a little bit more colorful than our eastern spadefoots back home typically are. And you can see next to my foot in camera, he's actually pretty big. I'd say bigger on average than our eastern spadefoots. All right, y'all, it's 1:30 and we've had another solid night, but we're just not really rolling in the snakes or getting any targets yet. It's been a little bit slow once again. Certainly not bad, but not really on fire either. Well, that may be the last snake of the night. It's real far away and we can't get any closer because there's a fence, but you'll have to take my word that that's a blacktail coiled up down there. It doesn't look that bad from back here, at least on my phone. Maybe it'll look way worse on the computer. We'll see. It's been a solid night. Just once again, not really any. You can hear some bullfrogs going off, but not really any standout highlight. Really, the glossy snake and the escaped desert king were the highlights. And unfortunately, the desert king did escape without any evidence it existed. But hopefully we'll see another one later.